suddenly, over the weekend, the weather changed and the snow came. I had noticed since we were into December how it was darker in the mornings and it seemed to be grey a lot quicker in the afternoon. It seemed as if the old year was suddenly slipping past away rapidly, and all the intentions and all the plans for the year of 2023 will have to be postponed. Yet again, for another year, I think, had slipped away. I think it must have always been this way, for I remember speaking to my granny when she was old, and she talked about the plans she and Grandad had to go to America when they were young. But things happened, and they never went to America. And life caught up with them, and they never went there, and all their dreams and hopes were put to one side. In the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, in the last chapter, there's the same kind of picture. There's a picture of an old man, and he's sitting with his grandson on his knee, and he's talking to him, and he's talking to him about life, and he tells him about the priorities of life and to remember. And so the young man wants to understand and know this, but the old man says he should remember his creator in the days of his youth. And it's interesting that people should speak like that, to remember God and not let the busyness of life put out his dealings with God before it is too late and life just slips past. He then, that's the old man, speaks a bit further. He speaks about the changes in life. And he was once old, but now he's old. And he uses very poetic and beautiful language to describe this. And he speaks about his hair. Now, you know, and I know that as you get older, your hair changes colour. My hair used to be a sort of golden blonde colour. Now it's grey. I can't get away from that. I'm just happy I've got some, but my hair is grey. And the old man speaks to his grandson, and he talks about the mulberry tree. He said, look at the mulberry tree. And of course, they would look at the mulberry tree, and it had all bloomed and blossomed, and it was beautiful, but it was white, and the flower in it was white. And the old man uses the poetic language to say, look at a mulberry tree. That's just like when you grow old, your hair changes colour and things happen. And he speaks about before the evil days come, when the cord of life would be cut and the golden bowl be broken and the mourners would walk about in the street. Now, everybody would understand that. He was talking about the end of life and the family that would gather and they would mourn for him. And they would talk about his life. And they would talk about the days when old Grandad no longer sat under the mulberry tree in the sun, but he worked hard and he looked after them. And the old man ends his speaking to his grandson, and he says this, finally, this is my conclusion. I want you to understand the totality of all life. And the totality of all life is this. And in this chapter, there are 3 couplets. There are 3 things of 2. And he speaks about young and old. And so the message of God is for young and for old. Remember now, in the days when you're fit and well and can think about it, remember now your Creator in the days of your youth. Why? And then in another couplet, he speaks about the preacher, that's the person who's speaking, and the congregation, the people who listen. So this message is for young and for old, and for rich and for poor, and for the person who speaks and the people who listen. And then he finally brings it all to conclusion, all to an end, where he says this message is about the soul and God. And as I sat there this morning and thought about this message and this that would be printed in the newspaper, And I looked out, and the snow had disappeared, and the rain had come, and the grey days are there, and I thought, the old year is just slipping past as quickly as can be. And before it does that, I would urge you to take time to think about God. Take time to think about eternal things. Do not shut God out of your life, because suddenly life will be past, and the end of all things is seen every day in our lives. And suddenly there will be a God that we must meet. I hope that this is not to a stark message. I hope this is not to a grey message, because we must remember that these December days, cold and grey days, will brighten again, and the sun will shine, and the buds will bloom, for God is faithful, and summer will come. Yet the message remains, before it is too late. Remember, remember. Thank you.